How
All
are you,
right.
sir?
I'm doing wonderful. Just here in Sacramento. How are you doing, Paul?
I'm great. I'm great. Here in Minnesota, where it's probably a little bit colder than Sacramento.
Probably, I would guess a little bit colder.
You know what, though? I dig it. I'm not going to lie to you. My wife and I have talked about, most people in Minnesota talk about, when can we, financially, when can we move to Arizona or Florida? We're like, let's go to Nova Scotia or Northern Montana. I don't know. We actually dig the cold. We're weird that way, I guess.
Hey, everyone's got their thing, and as long as you can skateboard, you're good.
That's right, 100%. So, okay, I found this interesting in looking up Benson Boone on the Google machine. I know that from Google that you got like 2 million followers on TikTok. That you apparently have a cute smile and you can do a backflip off a Jeep. But I couldn't find where you're from. Where the hell are you from?
I'm like, I'm from Monroe, Washington. It's like 45 minutes northeast of Seattle.
Oh, nice. Okay. So, like,
Yeah.
how Canada is that? Almost ish.
It's probably like an hour and a half from Canada, so not too far.
Nice. And now you're in Sacramento. Is that home now?
I'm just here for the week, just visiting some friends. But I call Vegas home right now, which is really weird. But yeah, I live in Vegas, like 25 minutes off the Strip, and it is definitely a different scene than Washington. Yeah.
Back in the 90s, the cool kids called Sacramento Sacto. Do they still call it Sacto?
I have no idea. This is my first time coming out here.
All right. You know a band called the Deftones?
The Deftones. I do not. I can't say I do.
90s hard, like progressive heavy metal. And that was on the back of all their we used to have like a vinyl, almost like a vinyl windbreaker type jacket, and the back would say Deftones, Sacto, California. That was like their bit. So
okay.
Yeah. All right. So I'm most curious, and maybe Vegas is shedding some light on this, but the word on the streets is you were in somehow, some way, some form discovered or found by Dan Reynolds of Imagine Dragons. Can you elaborate? Shed some light, because I know nothing.
Yeah. So after I quit American Idol, Dan reached out to me and he was like, "Hey man, love your vibe, love your look, love your voice. You should come out and write with me for a couple days." And that's not really something you hear every day from Dan Reynolds. So I had never written any music before, I never even tried. So I flew out to Vegas just for like 3 or 4 days, and Dan and I just wrote together every day. We would just get in the studio, and he kind of taught me how to write, I guess. And it was amazing. He ended up really liking me. We got along really well. And so the next day I flew home, packed my favorite clothes in a suitcase, and moved to Vegas. And it was just, that's kind of where it started. It was crazy.
Congratulations. You officially have one of the coolest origin stories of any artist on the planet right now. Who does that happen to? I guess Benson Boone. Who else?
That's what I was like he could have called anyone. It's Dan Reynolds. I mean, he got all the connections, but no, he chose to call Benson Boone from Monroe, Washington.
I love it. I love your humility about it as well. That's awesome. Did he call you out of the blue? Like, did it knock you on your butt, or did you know the call was coming?
Oh, further than my butt. I was laid out flat. It was like he reached out to me on social media, so he just DM'd me.
Wow.
And it just like, I didn't really know what to say. I thought it was like a scam or something, because there's no way. Right.
But is he the blue check mark though?
Yeah. So but he's such a nice guy, and like when you meet him, I mean, Dan. First of all, Dan looks like Hulk. He is just jacked, and he's like 6'5". He's just a huge dude. And so I met him, and I was so intimidated. I couldn't even talk. But then he comes up so nice, and he just wants you like to do whatever makes you happy. And he's so cool. So like, it's been great. He's a wonderful person to work with.
Yeah, I was very intrigued by that story just because a little like background on me. I actually was one of the few that was there on the ground floor of Imagine Dragons back in like late 2011. Me and a guy from Interscope Records were just at a show, and we're, being the cool kids standing in the back, kind of, also because you want to observe the audience and see what they're reacting to. And he's like probably 50 to 75 feet that way or whatever. And we just kind of, at one point during Radioactive, in a tiny club, maybe 100 people, we do one of these. You know what I mean? Like, not saying that it was right then and there. I knew that they were going to be playing stadiums in a couple of years, but you just knew there was something special. And the band came back to the station, and we hung out for probably 25 minutes, half hour, had Jimmy John's because they were on the road and needed to eat. And we stayed in touch for quite a while, actually. And because he and I were married a month apart, and we had kids a month apart. So we had kind of this, here we were kind of from two separate worlds, but kind of living a similar life at the time. And we really connected. And yeah, we stayed in touch for quite a while, and he is an absolutely wonderful human being. He's a little busy now, so I don't really, we don't stay in touch now, but, but just, they're all great guys. So
yeah, they are.
And I love your story because it backs all that up. But anyway, okay. So I have a weird question for you. And we'll talk about Ghost Town in a second too, but you got a new track either coming or it's here, Room for Two, Valentine's Day, right?
Room for Two. So it was supposed to be released Valentine's Day, but it got, just because there's like all these things when releasing a song that push things back, and it's got to be in the system for a certain amount of time. So it'll be on the 18th of February.
Perfect. That's Friday, right? That's kind of release day. So that works.
It's Valentine's week. Same thing.
For sure. Yeah, totally. I noticed in the short video you posted on Instagram, your tongue was blue. I'm hoping ring pop, but I want to know what the truth is.
Honestly, a ring pop would have been a way better excuse, but it was a Jolly Rancher. It was a blue Jolly Rancher. This is no joke. I had a blue Jolly Rancher last night. So there's nothing wrong with a blue Jolly Rancher. They're so good. They're like, they're so good.
The flavor's there, and they last a while as long as you don't crunch into them, right?
But if you crunch into them, it's like you're just asking to have a meeting with the dentist. I mean, so you might as well just keep it in your mouth. It's like,
and absorb, take it in, right?
Yeah, and it's
a candy that keeps on giving.
It really is.
Are we seriously breaking down Jolly Ranchers right now? This is fantastic.
I would have to say you're probably the first person I've ever had this conversation with, and that is in the best way possible.
I love it. Well, you know what? I strive to be different. I'm not going to just say, so what was your inspiration for Ghost Town? We got to get at the hard issues. You know what I mean? It's not about the inspiration and the influences. It's about the blue tongue, bruh.
Yeah. About those Jolly. I mean, yeah, sure. Ghost Town came out a couple months ago, but why was my tongue blue? That is the topic of today.
And so let's get to Ghost Town. And you kind of like, so I'm guessing that the auditions for American Idol were kind of some of the first performances, because it sounds like, and then with Dan was like kind of the first writing and stuff like that. Are you excited or nervous? And you can be honest. Are you nervous as hell to get out and perform, or are you looking forward to it? And I'm guessing you've been working hard on it behind the scenes.
Yeah. So it's kind of like, I mean, there's always things that I'm nervous about, and I don't know how they're going to go. And like, I'll be up for people, or like, there's like, overall, like, I'm not really one to get very nervous. Like when I have a show, I recently went to Europe just for a promo tour, and I did my first concert there, and it was a music festival for mental health, and there were 16,000 people there. So it was like this stadium was packed, and obviously like I'm not big enough to be performing that kind of arena, but like when I was about to go out, I was so nervous. But once I stepped on stage, it was like, it felt so right. And I knew, like, I just knew it was going to be great. So I guess like I'm nervous up until I get to the stage.
I think that's kind of natural. And what I've come to just from my experience in doing radio live in front of people, it's one thing in a studio, but live in front of people, you kind of get some nerves, or emceeing an event, you get some nerves. I've also grown up my whole life playing hockey. You get nerves before that, but the second you get into the element, but you know what I've figured out, at least from my experience, is those nerves just show that you give a crap. You know what I mean? Like that just means that you care. If you didn't, you wouldn't get those nerves, you know?
Exactly. Yeah.
But then once you get into your element, you know, it's like, let's go, baby. Windows are down, put it on cruise control. Let's rock.
Once I was in, yeah, it's like, it's the best ever. And getting feedback from that many people just drives you to be your best. So it's amazing.
You mentioned mental health. Is that something that's, I mean, do you have a personal connection to that? I mean, obviously it's really cool that it's kind of getting especially me. And I just mentioned hockey and I'm way older than you are. For the longest time, it was, you know, like, don't be a pansy, get out there and deal. You know what I mean? Like you're just sad, or, you know, like cheer up, you know, or whatever, get over it. Like, and now we actually take it seriously. So, do you have a personal connection, or are you just kind of like back in that whole movement?
Well, so I, like, me personally, I mean, this year more than any year, I've like had to deal with more mentally than I ever have. But I don't personally struggle a lot with like mental health has never been an issue for me. But I have 4 sisters, and all of them in different ways, I mean, suffer greatly from different kinds of just, you know, like bipolar and depression and things like that. And it's hard to watch, especially just, I mean, my own sisters. So it'll always be something I support. But yeah, just, I definitely think it's something that people need to take seriously.
Yeah, for sure. And it, like I said, it's great that we've kind of finally evolved to a place in the world where you're not just some pansy. It's a real issue, you know. Like, I mean, I take what I have I have a reminder in my phone every night at 9 o'clock. Take your crazy pills. It's just my way of being silly about it, right? Just because I have, you know, like a mild depression, I think is probably what it is. My wife suffers from like hardcore anxiety, you know, and it's just, you know, it's very real. And every person out there, I mean, almost everybody, I shouldn't say everybody, but almost everybody has some form here or there, just, you know, just the way it is, you know. It's pretty common. Dan Reynolds, I mean, he's come out about it as well. It's cool that he's a champion for all of that as well. So speaking of champions, have you been watching the Olympics at all, or no time?
Dude, no time. The
No time.
Olympics, the playoffs for football, like I've not been keeping up with it very well.
Well, I mean, give it 5 years and you can just play the halftime show of the Super Bowl. How does that sound?
You know, as long as I have a Blue Jolly Rancher before, I think we'll be good. I think we'll be good.
Nice work, buddy. I love that. Hey, you're awesome, man. I really enjoyed the talk. You seem well beyond your years to me. And just you again seem like a very humble, just down to earth, cool dude that I'll certainly be rooting for.
Thank you so much, Paul. I hope someday we'll be able to meet in person and maybe share a little Blue Jolly Rancher together.
I love it. In fact, that's being worked on behind the scenes. So hopefully we can put something together.
All right. Amazing. Well, thank you so much, Paul.
You as well. Have a great day. Enjoy your friends in Sacramento, and enjoy the path ahead, man. It should be an insane year for you.
Thanks. And I will enjoy cold weather.
I will. Take care.
You too. See ya.
Perfect. Jeremy, thank you. That was awesome, man. Thank you. And I meant it. You do. You seem like just an awesome dude, and I truly are. We are rooting for you. Love your story is fantastic, man. It's wasn't just for recording. Like, truly mean it.